Oh, this is Patrick. Welcome to Chart Built Wealth, Profitable Investing with Technical Analysis. I wanted to cover the current buy recommendations. I do have two buy recommendations that are going from buy to uh, neutral. So let's get into it. Circle Internet Group, CRCL. This is a cryptocurrency uh, tie, tied to that industry. And this was that small pattern that I talked about back couple of weeks ago. And I said, this is such a small pattern. I don't have a lot of confidence in it, but the upside here is really big. And so I gave a buy recommendation. I said, I'm going smaller in position because it's less certain. Smaller patterns can break down, and that's what happened. So 165 was the stop. We got stopped out, and so I am neutral right now. National Retail Properties, the REIT that I've been in and out of twice. So bought it back in the middle of 2024 on this bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. The price projection was 52. It got to 46. Sold it here, bounced around. It really got crushed, came back up, regained the neckline. I went bullish. It's just been flailing around here, up and down. The pattern is getting muddled. I don't usually these patterns work quickly and cleanly. And so I'm going to a neutral rating here with a small gain. I want to just show the dollar index. This is something that I'm watching very carefully. This is not a buy recommendation, but it could change the tables on things like commodities and emerging markets. And as you can see, this has been in a big downtrend, the dollar, and that's aided commodities to do really well and emerging markets to outperform us. But you can see that the commercials, the big boys, the big money center banks are at a very bullish position on the dollar right now, as bullish as they've been the last 3 or 4 years. So a lot of times people will gravitate to the dollar if the market isn't going to do well. It's kind of a flight to safety to the dollar, to treasuries, those kind of things. So maybe that's what it is. I wanted to point that out because of our commodity exposure and our emerging market exposure. The S&P 500. So now we're going to talk about our stock market. So, um, could a reason why people flocking to the dollar because maybe our market is going to have a little rough patch here. Well, I'm in that camp. So, seasonality is bearish until, the first third of October. And these are seasonality is just a tendency. It doesn't have to happen, but it's something to be aware of. And so here is the S&P 500. I was bearish. Traded this very well on the way down. It got bullish down here and then turned bearish and continued higher. I finally got shook out and went neutral. And then a week later, I went bearish again. And last week, we had a bearish engulfing pattern where this red bar totally engulfs the prior up week, the white bar. And you can see prior bearish engulfing patterns that have added to declines of different magnitudes. So, just wanted to point that out. We have a big 1.5 year negative divergence, meaning that as prices have gone higher, the underlying intensity or oomph underneath the market has been waning, suggesting a change of trend is coming. So, yes, I'm bearish on the market. This is just to point out that, being in US stocks only has not been a good approach. This is by the Elliott Wave Group, Bob Prechter's group. You can see it's been really one of the least, there's been many things that have outperformed that, including emerging market countries, China, Africa, all different emerging markets, as well as commodities, silver, gold. Yes, yours truly had you in them very early at the right time. So, in the US market, we got Verizon. It's a pattern, a symmetrical triangle that was a 6 month pattern, so decent size. Broke out, went bullish. It's pretty much where I went bullish This is a daily chart. Each one of these bars represents a day. So maybe a week ago or so, I went bullish. The price projection based on this pattern is 50, and it also has a 6% dividend, 6.5% dividend. If things get rough, you want to own things like Verizon. You want to own conservative type things. This is something that isn't conservative. The cannabis ETF, MJ. So there's about 100 cannabis stocks in this. And, went bullish here back at 20. We're looking, the downtrend after a 3-year downtrend. The downtrend ended, and you can see we're trying to identify a new bullish trend at an early stage and stay with that trend until it changes. So we got involved with this down at 16. I want to say this was at one time 150 or something. So anyway, uh, I'm looking, another big up week, and I'll be selling. This is an ETF. So in my portfolio, my maximum weighting in an ETF, which has 100 companies or 50 companies, they can have different amounts, but multiple companies, I can have 10% in that. So I think I got this position up to 8, and I'm probably down to 6. Get another big up week, I might bring that down to 4. I think there's a lot more upside here, but nothing goes in a straight line. And so I will be looking to sell into strength if we're lucky enough to get that tomorrow. And here is the point and figure chart. Why we still have a bearish trend line because this is a new trend after this big correction. I'm sorry, I guess the high was 54. I exaggerated that. It got down to 16 and now we're at 24. The bullish price target is about 35 or 34, maybe this bearish trend line that's coming into play. So anyway, MJ's been good so far, been good to me. And here's TAN, the solar stocks. This is again an ETF. So, there's 50 companies, there's 75 companies in this ETF. And we have a bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern here. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. Price projection is 46. We're currently at 37. We bought it at 37, so we're basically flat here. And this is just a longer term chart. This is a weekly chart. Each one of these bars is a week, not a day like the prior chart. And we have a bullish rainbow convergence here if prices can hold this $35 level. Exelon, the utility company, and this is a big pattern. This is a I don't know, 2.5 year pattern, a descending triangle. And we've been in this for a while, back in fourth quarter of 2024. Bought it at 39 and have kind of ridden this. And it had a 5.5% dividend. It's got to be close to that now. Maybe it's 5. So our price projection is 51. I'm going to be watching this closely because it's interest rate sensitive. China, long-term big picture is still very bullish. And we got involved way back here in 2024, went neutral a few weeks later. Each one of these bars represents a week, and then we went bullish again. We've been bullish ever since. I don't like this lower highs here, negative divergence on our RSI as we hitting higher highs. So it's something I'm cognizant of and going to be watching very closely. So, you know, uh, what was I doing last week on this pop up of 2.25%? I was selling some. So, uh, I'm short-term cautious on emerging markets. And here we go with the 10-year treasury. So we had a bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. Broke out, came back, retested that breakout, which is pretty common. And so bought that at where did I buy that at? 92.47. And so we're up to 96. And I got my stop at 93.5. So something like fixed income like this, I can have 10% in an ETF like IEF. I can also have 10% in IEI, the 5-year treasury. So, I had quite a bit of this and I've been gradually selling on this up move, monitoring this very closely. Our price projection is 100. It says we still have farther to go, but we have kind of a crazy CPI number comes out on Tuesday, which could be a mover for interest rates. Silver, it's been good, still bullish, um, but monitoring this closely again because of that dollar chart I showed you at the beginning and near the beginning. If the dollar turns up, normally metals don't do too well. So the dollar hasn't turned up yet, and silver hasn't turned down. I'm looking for bearish formations or something to be less bullish. But, last week, what was I doing? I was selling the week before I was buying, but I'm selling a little bit heavier now. Um, and platinum, kind of the same thing. Only platinum already had its correction. You can see how fast these things are, just like copper, which we were stopped out of. Copper was down 25% in one day. I've never seen that before. So I don't think this move in platinum is done, however. As you see, this high that we hit, I was telling you to sell on these huge up weeks. Sell, 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 sell. But you can see we got confirmation of that high with a very overbought condition. Normally, you'd get another high and then you'll get a lower high on our relative strength index, our RSI, giving us a negative divergence, flashing a caution sign, beware, a change of trend is coming, but we don't really have that yet. So I'm cautiously watching this because our stop is way down here. So still bullish though on platinum. Thank you for watching Chart Built Wealth, profitable investing with technical analysis. Please like and subscribe. I'm trying to lessen my holdings because I have some new things that I want to add, but it's hard to cover so many in a call like this. Thank you for watching. Have a great evening and a great trading to you tomorrow. I'll be in touch.